Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. It's good to see you. Last time I saw you, you were in full pirate
Yeah.
mm, uh, dress and
Dress,
eyeliner, and
dress and garb. I still have a
looked
little
pretty
bit of
cool.
eyeliner on me now. I
I
don't
could
know.
tell when I saw you this morning at the door. I could tell.
Yeah, I kind of like. I mean, secretly, I love it more than I probably should. Like I was telling somebody, like I love Halloween because it's the one time a year I get to wear eyeliner
Oh,
and get
right
away
on.
with it. And
Yeah.
because it gives you like nobody doesn't look better with a little bit of eyeliner. But it's how to get it off. You know, alcohol or spit or I don't know.
Would you please tell the listening and viewing audience who you are?
I am Ben Michaels,
Mm-hmm.
and I am a professional entertainer.
Yeah.
I've been, past the 10-year mark, so I can say that. And where you saw me, I was actually at Union Station, dressed as a pirate, doing dances and getting a dance party for the kids for Halloween, and it was awesome.
That was a lot of fun. You had the crowd going. You had some witches dancing. Did they come with you?
Yeah. Well, so the whole event was put together by Talent West.
Okay.
Nancy and Debbie, Lise, great women, great company. And they produced all the talent. So there was like Gru and the little minions from Despicable Me.
Oh, okay.
I think Connect 4 events with Talent West put together with the witch dance, which was also cool because they did it for like Thriller and Monster Mash and
All right.
German singer I didn't know, but it had a beat, and that was what was important.
Right on.
Yeah.
So you say performer. So what are you doing as a performer over the last 10 years? What's your bag of tricks?
Ooh, my bag of tricks. I mean, I definitely say my specialty is like kids parties.
Okay.
I like it, and it's cool when the parents watch, and like I think there's nothing cooler than making like a little kid, from 5 to 13 or whoever it is, even 55. Everybody feels a little bit special when everybody's clapping while they're doing something positive, and I like to make those moments. I try not to make any like wah wah wah.
Oh, sure.
Like nobody wants to look, but sometimes you got to take the jab. I'm just kidding though. But then I also do stilt walking, murder mysteries. I'm not much of an actor because I cannot remember lines.
Oh, is that why?
I am terrible, and like that in my procrastination. But I'll do anything. I used to, like even like 10 years ago, I remember like in 60 pounds ago, I would do Justin Timberlake and a legit Johnny Depp. It was not
Impersonation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I used to do house parties a lot more back in the day, and it's all like the same thing, right? It's all. I go to an event, we play some music, we play some games, and everybody's, happy. It's like the same formula. So, I would go to people's house dressed as Captain Jack Sparrow, like right when, that movie Pirates of the Caribbean first came out. And I would go to people's houses, and man, like I was only like 26, 27 years old. So I was just like, hey, we're here to party, encourage a little bit of libations, and I think that's the correct pronunciation of that word. But like, I mean, everybody, like a dance contest, answer a little bit of trivia, give me your best R. What's a pirate's favorite letter of the alphabet, Austin?
Isn't it R?
No, it's the C. R. It'd be the C.
Oh,
the C. But then it's funny because it's a C and S, and then people get mad about that sometimes too. But yeah, I mean. Anything, man. Anything to pay the bills.
Okay. And that's kind of how you got into the performing?
Man, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, like I ran away to Chicago to go to Second City.
Oh, tell us a little bit about that.
2003, I dropped out of college at CSU.
Okay. What were you studying?
I was studying psychology.
Okay.
And then I watched. Sorry, I keep backing away from the camera, which is not fair to the sound guy. And host and everything, but was doing stand-up comedy, and I was finding a way to get paid for it. CB and Pots in Old Chicago up in Fort Collins, and
okay.
I was in a fraternity, so I was like, as long as I could provide free or cheap booze, like I know 50 to 100 people would be there. I was like spoiled, and I was like, F this, I can't major in stand-up comedy. So, and that's right when I think I forget when Chris Farley passed, but like he was like one of my biggest influences.
Yeah.
I literally changed my major to dance. and so I did ballet, modern, and I love his facial expression.
Because of the fact that Chris Farley he was actually kind of known to be light on his feet. Is this why you changed the major?
Physical comedy.
Okay.
Control of the body.
Yeah.
And being able to like take a pratfall and not like get hurt.
Yeah.
And so, and to dance with the girls in class was amazing.
Sure. Sure.
It sounds weird, like it's funny when I just think about it quickly, but when I really look at it, I'm like, okay, that was kind of strange, Ben. But that's everybody's history, and I don't regret it because to this day, like I have more coordination, than most. Like I can still statue because of it, and that's like holding a position for a long period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And then scaring people when they're not looking. I'll still statue.
I love those guys. Actually, seeing those.
They're dope, man.
But wow, okay.
But
so dropped out, but then went ahead and dropped out.
Dropped out and moved to Chicago. I was going to move to California, but that's a love story for a different era. But moved to Chicago instead. Went to Second City.
And tell people who don't know what Second City, what ultimately it feeds.
So Second City and places like that, and like Upright Citizens Brigade, and all the other good ones. They're the ones that feed the people that write on late night with Jimmy Fallon, with Stephen Colbert, that end up on Saturday Night Live
right.
or writing for Saturday Night Live. It's just like training grounds. And I did short form. Second City's more short form. You go through a bunch of different classes, and then eventually you can actually audition to be with the company. But I actually just produced my own shows. Like I had the first ever USO tour at a Chipotle, where a dog tag was like your ticket in, and it's so crazy. Hannibal Buress, Hannibal Buress?
Yeah.
He was our closer that night. And
wow.
He wasn't like Hannibal Buress at the time.
Yeah.
I remember we were sitting around having esoteric conversations about, Mitch Hedberg and how unfortunate his death was, and then here I am 10 years later, and I'm like, I could say like I shook that guy's hand and was cool with him, before, and it was cool, but I got to do some really original, weird stuff out in Chicago. But I drank a lot, and that was one of the reasons I had to move back.
Oh, okay. Okay. So how long were you in Chicago, and how long was that time?
Out in like 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was right when I moved back. I moved back 2 weeks too early because it was when the White Sox won the World Series, and they had that crazy awesome pitcher, and it was a cool time, man. One of my favorite parts of my life. I made a lot of good friends out there. I recommend to anybody, like straight up, like, if you have any sort of dream or you have any sort of want to get out of town and try something new, like do it, and do it while you're young, Well,
and just to tell you, that's part of the reason why you're on this show, because, I mean, I've known you, I don't know, let's say 5 years, maybe 4 or 5 years, something. Yeah. And always high energy, optimistic, and a dreamer. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I can connect with. That's something that I look for in people, and you've always been one of those people. And
thanks, man.
So
Thank you very much.
We're about to talk about this next chapter, but I just want to say, I've always admired you because I see that you're living your dreams, or trying to, like we all are, right? We're trying, but yet we've got responsibilities and duties and day jobs, unfortunately, and stuff. But I just wanted to throw that in there because you inspire me.
Well, thanks, man. I think you're very inspiring yourself. That's why I always love coming and running into you and having these deep conversations about life, because that's what it is living the dream now. You don't have time to do it later.
That's right. I guess we might as well. Okay, so you're in Chicago and then you came back. So is that once you came back, is that when you really started performing around town and getting the gigs that you were doing? And
yeah, well, because I was always hosting. Like I always love hosting, and like imagine that I like to be the center of attention. But as I've gotten older, it's less about being the center of attention and more about guiding the crowd to a better moment.
Okay.
And through that transition, it was actually Talent West. I was working as a sales position at a company that got me into events, fun productions in town, which I love. Don and Josh and Hogan and the whole family. It's a great company. And I started there when I was 16, 17, dealing cards, because it's not for money. It's for, charities and corporations. But lo and behold, I'm working there. I'm getting ready to phase out because I'm just not much of a salesperson. Like, I have to be out there, And I get a call, and Debbie Lees was like, hey, do you can you do mime? I'm looking for a good mime in
No.
town. And I'm like, I mean, I did dance, right? And one of those things you learn is that physicality and
Sure.
holding the moment. And so, yeah, I was like, heck yeah, I can do mime, you know, and I'm fresh off of that, all that. So I'm still pretty, you know, in good shape. And, yeah, my first gig ever was a mime. And I don't know if like I knocked it out of the park because I've never really been a mime. Like my makeup was borderline terrible, but I would mess with people. And I discovered one thing is there's two kinds of people in this world: those who hate mimes, and those who love people who hate mimes. Like that's half the fun. They're like, hey, Jenny over there, you got to go mess with Jenny. And then all of a sudden you go and like they get scared. Like sometimes it gets scary. Like they will almost punch you or claw you. But yeah, since then, you know, that's when I got into being like the like just anything. It was a really hot time, man. 2006, 2007 was like a golden era for entertainment. You know, we could get lawyer wages, and anybody, like I was saying, I was doing house parties, man. I was like doing like customized bartending where I just get, you know, drunk with the rich people and just be crazy. You know, I've done some, you know, and what was I saying?
Well,
I get lost in the moment.
Well, that's
fun.
okay. I don't know. We were just kind of talking about you coming back to Colorado, but now I'm starting to think 2006, 2007.
Yeah,
there was money everywhere.
Dude, there was so
much money.
There was no reason for us to be at some of this stuff. But, I mean, at the end of the day, there always was a reason. Like, I mean, back in its heyday, it worked very well. It's a functioning machine. You got the living statue. You got the person with the dress around him with all the champagne. You got the aerial artist in the corner. I mean, these parties were awesome, you know? And then now, like, after 2007, 2008, like, I went back into the bars. I was a strip club DJ for 2.5 years, which is why I think I'm as crisp as I ever could be, you know, on a microphone or when I do get, you know, focused, because 8 hours a day we're mentioning, you know, dancers is like the best, you know, worst experience I've ever had in my life.
So think about that if you're listening. That's a pretty good training ground.
It is a phenomenal training ground. You have to talk.
Yeah.
There's no machine that's going to know, like, unless you pre-record candy, cinnamon, Mercedes. You know, I mean, as long as it's like you put them on some kind of, you know, board and you press the button and it's, you know, that name, Mercedes on stage 4. You know, like a telephone.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, you got to do it. You got to do it live, and you got to entertain these people, man.
Yeah.
Like you get 4 people in there in a day shift, you're doing good. You can still clear good money as long as you're giving the girls every tool that they need for that guy to stay there. So like you learn how to use music, and oh man, it's like a carrot on a stick, right? And like any party you ever do, there's a carrot on the stick of some kind that's, you know, keeping them excited. But as soon as they get the carrot, or as soon as there's no more carrot, they're gone. You know, they're going to go home, you know, and you learn how to make people stay there longer and have more fun.
Wow.
And that's really, like, at the end of the day, that's all I think I try to do in any of the gigs that I have, you know.
Right.
But, yeah, after that, it was all just as much possible gigs and experience, and then and then the market crashed, so I was running beer pong. So I went from making like great money at this young age, and now making, like, working as hard as I can for like $100 a night.
Yeah,
you know, getting beer pong and getting people, and bless those people's hearts, but they really were good friends and got me through, like, you know, another 2 years of my life.
Okay.
You know, trying to come back from all that, because I may have partied pretty hard. You know, Indiana Jones may have smelled a little bit like tequila, kind of like Cam the Ram at CSU in 2003. And
wait, Indiana Jones?
Yeah.
What about it?
I think I did. I'm so embarrassed that this is so bad, but I think I did a party where I drank a lot of tequila the night before.
All right.
And I'm barely pulling this thing off, but the problem is like I couldn't get too close to anybody because I knew I reeked of tequila, because I was already late, so I don't think I had enough time to shower.
Oh.
Like, this was like towards the end, like right when the market crashed and there was like no need for an abundance of entertainers. You know, if I was at the bottom of the list, you know, now I'm, you know, basically blackballed, you know, and that's kind of what happened. Like, I pulled the party off, right?
Right.
But and the kids didn't know none the better, but the parents were all pretty pissed. And needless to say, I didn't get hired back for a while. Yeah. And yeah, so, and then once I, just started pulling my head out of my butt, and getting sober
Mm-hmm.
and really fighting the good fight, just started getting back all those gigs, and then I was able to do, consistent work.
Right on.
But this is like one thing I will say for like living the dream, and for anybody that wants to get continual sources of income, is like I think I've told you before about the faucet mentality,
Mm-hmm.
where you always have all these different faucets, and maybe this one is only giving you $100 a month, but this one's giving you $500
Right.
a month. As long as you're clearing $4,000, you're good. And I remember, I needed an extra, nice chunk of change each month, so I started, one thing that really helped push me back up and get good on the mic again too, was I think just a couple years ago, I was at Saratoga Casino, and I went from just being like a personality there on Friday, Saturday nights, having bubblegum blowing contests for all the craps, roulette, and cards players, just to spice up that atmosphere, and just yelling, funny things on the mic, to like working there actually like, full time, which was really cool too, because it showed me I have to perform. I can't be in like an office, and yeah, you're only as good as your last gig, and if you make sure your last gig was a good one, you're going to keep working.
Yep.
And that's what I've been doing.
Right
and
on.
then, yeah, but now out in LA right now.
Wait, what?
What?
Maybe that's part 2 of this interview
2.
here. So, okay, so you've made the move to LA? Is that
Yeah.
what you're saying?
I've been out there since September 11th, and I have gotten absolutely no work, and I have gotten absolutely, no big opportunities, but I'm also trying to play the game the exact way that I would in, Colorado,
Okay.
and trying to do everything the way that I know how to do it out here. Like, I think I was, like, telling you, like, in 10 years, I have 10 years of experience of just solid understanding of my craft and how to do it the best way I can, And out there, I thought I was going out there with 10 years of experience knowing how to do my craft the exact way that I can,
Right.
to maybe going back to, like, only 5 years. Like, that business knowledge and consistency, like, I was never not afraid of how I was going to make money in Colorado, because I always knew 5 different ways to do it. Out in LA, I don't know any.
Oh.
And even the couple that I did don't exist. I went to a bunch of different bars. Like, I'm not used to hearing no, or
Okay.
at least, maybe. But no. It's difficult. And, like, I could be trying harder, but I think also at the same time, like, I think I know I need to do a new venture out there.
Okay. So what would the new venture be?
I think I'm going to use my degree. Represent. I'm covered in cat hair, so that I'm gonna hope that's not HD.
And
Is that 4K?
what was that degree in?
Hospitality, tourism, and events.
Right on. So how are you going to use it?
Like event management. You
Right
know,
on.
I think I feel like I've seen, like, it's hard to get to that point, but I've seen hundreds of events now. In 100 different ways.
Yeah.
And I know personally what I think works and why it works, and that's like the most important thing, is why. But I think I'm going to do team building out there. I'm going to make a team building company that benefits charity. So, like, where I would normally agency would normally be making commission. Like, I just want my market rate, per hour. If I can get as much of that, then I'll be happy, and I can go do whatever I want to do out in LA. But there's a cause I care about very much, is Advocates for Children. Court-appointed special advocates, CASA. And then the organization I work with out here in Aurora was Advocates for Children. And I love the ladies in those offices. And just a really, really good cause. So I've been thinking about this idea for 2 years. I need a way to turn money, quickly, while keeping the freedom of trying to do my goal of being a talk show host. Not an actor, because I can't remember lines. But I need that freedom, and I think this will give it to me, you know? Because I think the way that we're making it, the corporation would have a nice chunk back in money from a tax write-off. It's going to already be cheaper than your typical team building. And I have a couple different ways that it would benefit the charity. Like when the teams won something, it'd be like you won $250 in cash to give towards Casa of LA, and would be an interesting, fun way, team building wise, to give out these prizes. But I think if I'm aggressive, I think there's a couple different marketing arms I'm going to try. And if I'm going to be out there having to sell anybody sell anyone, you know, I want to be the boss making the dollar and not the employee making the 10 cents, you know. So if it doesn't work, then I'll sell some more art and personal belongings. And I mean, I'm not scared, you know. I'm gonna go all in.
Well, and another project that I've seen, and it's a way to stay connected with you while you're out there, is Don't Dab and Drive.
Yes, Don't Dab and Drive.
So let's hear about that. How did this come about?
Oh, man, it was so cool. So I moved out to, one of the reasons I moved out to LA is a wonderful, beautiful, powerful, wonderful actress, Jennifer Westra. Jay West, as I like to call her. I think I'm the only one who calls her that. But really cool girl. And she moved out. She's like, hey, Ben, I'm going to move out to LA. And I'm like, you know what? And she like jokingly said, you know, you should probably, you know, think about doing it too.
Oh.
And because we've been on some events together and we have a really good, you know, chemistry and comedy back and forth. And I thought about it and I'm like, what am I going to do? Like whatever I do out here, if I stay in Colorado, I had to invest 100% in. Otherwise, I can't waste any more time. And I'm like, I got a dream, I got to chase, you know, and that's out in LA, you know, and that's why, you know, I decided, you know, to move out there with her. And we wanted to do something that held us accountable each week. So we started with, like the day I flew in or drove in, we're driving around and we're doing the Facebook Live. And we do a whole episode just talking about, you know, following your dreams and having, you know, just much like this one. And we said something about dabbing, and I tried to dab, and I'm like, I couldn't. Like, if you have a steering wheel right here, and you dab, like you're gonna hit the window unless it's down. But either way, it's like dangerous. Like you're gonna turn the car. Like we found out really quickly, you should not don't dab and drive.
Okay.
And we just
wonder
loved
where
it.
the name came from.
Well, yeah, and that's where the name literally came from. And it's so cool because there's so many different contexts, which is such a great conversation starter as we've found. You know, what does dab mean to you? You know, so depending on your age and your likes and dislikes, it might mean a dance move.
Right.
It might mean a giant hit.
Right.
That is very aggressive and occasionally wonderful. And, you know, or you get what my uncle, who, you know, used to fly the rescue helicopters back in Nam. And he's like, boy, I asked, what is don't dab and drive? Like, I remember I didn't answer right away, and he asked, you know, personally, and it's like, it's a dance move, you know? He's like, you know, 60, you know, years old. He's not going to know either one.
Right.
So it's really cool. Kind of transcends time. But, yeah, her and I host the show weekly. We aim for 6:30s on Wednesdays. That's Pacific Standard Time. And it's just, I mean, we're just trying to do anything. You know, I mean, I've respect for this right here. This is amazing. This is gorgeous. It's very inspiring. You know, like I like to like look around and it like inspires, you know, my story. And that's what we try to do. You know, I mean, we've opened the show with a Whole New World parody song. You know, and it's all, our thing is it has to be improv. It has to be live.
Okay. And was she, did she do improv on her own? Is that something that in her background?
Yeah, she's in a professional class right now.
Oh.
She has a lot of improv in her background. And she wants to be a comedian, like an actress, you know, but a comedian. And she's, you know, hilarious and can keep going, you know. And that's what so short form would be like the 3 to 5 minute sketches, you know, based on a premise from the audience. Where long form is, it's based, you know, on a premise from both the audience and yourself, but like none of this is rehearsed, you know, maybe only the layout of the timetable. So it'd be more considered long form. We're going for, you know, 15, 20 minutes at a time, you know, and this is, we know the basic points, we're going to like ideas, but we're improv-ing.
Okay.
And we do improv skits, you know, so like the Whole New World parody. One of my favorites is we made because you can't drink the water in California.
Okay.
So we had to have one of those things installed that, you know, you get the big gallon or, you know, put them on.
Purifier thing.
Yeah, and we literally buy water. We had to buy like 7 jugs of water a month, and you put it upside down. You feel kind of fancy putting it in this little machine that if you want, you can get tea from it too, you know, tea water. And we'd use that as a drum, and we put like a blanket over it, and we were doing slam poetry. And the thing was that we could practice, but we had to walk in with a new character. Like maybe like some small parts like are written a little bit, but the basic of this game was, you know, we come in and, you know, Bob, and mine was about Lion King, and I was like, you know, I don't know. I mean, you have to go and watch the show, and it'll be good. But I guess that's subjective. But I don't know. It's just a really fun show, and we're always trying to do different things. We'll do an inspirational talk. We give away prizes to our listeners.
Oh, cool.
So hey, everybody who votes on this will get their name in a hat. And it's just been cool.
Right on.
Yeah.
And I even saw you pop up. Did you try out for The Price is Right?
Yeah.
How was that experience?
It was really, really cool.
Okay.
But I can't say much.
Because of some confidentiality thing? Or
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That you had to sign?
Yeah, yeah. So.
Oh.
And also, I want to be on it again, so I want to make sure I'm not breaking any rules at all.
Oh, sure.
It's really, like, if you were on the show, you'll completely understand.
Yeah.
But I can't say anything that happened with our group at the show.
Oh, because you actually did make it. You were in the audience then.
Yeah.
You can say that.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
You saw the show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Because I didn't know that you I thought, well, okay, if he doesn't get on, then okay, so you were in the audience then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So the secret is, if you're in LA and you want to be on The Price is Right, the secret is to get priority tickets.
Okay.
And then I think that also gets you on the Wayne Brady Deal or No Deal show or something.
Oh.
And if you get priority, you're guaranteed it. You're going to be an audience member. You're guaranteed. But it's like this. Yeah, and I think that's about all I can say for now. But
get some priority tickets if you want to be on the show.
Get priority tickets. December 29th is going to be the airing, and it'll definitely be fun watching.
Oh, I guess I didn't even think about that. Right. So, okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Or I understand that the show you've been on hasn't aired yet.
Yeah. Well, once it's aired, we can talk.
Then you can talk about it. I get it.
Because they don't like to be like, hey, this contestant won the Batmobile. I mean, it just kind of ruins the magic.
Right.
If you think about it.
Yeah. No, that makes complete sense. Yeah. I mean, it's same with Survivors. They don't want you to come back and say, well, Jim won $1 million, and then why watch it?
So, yeah,
exactly. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. But you were on it, and cool. Very cool. It was a cool experience.
It was a really cool experience. We made the secret to number 2 is make cool shirts.
That's what
we made. Jen and I made 4 shirts for the 4 of us that went, and it said Drew for Prez, and it had a picture of Drew, and we're not gonna buy the right material to screen press or to iron on a face, so we had just really thick paper and we cut out a big circle of Drew's face and we just safety pinned it on the front, and we put glitter on everything, so it said Drew for Prez, and on the back it had Jen's face, and it said Jen for Vice Prez, and then on her shirt it said me for Vice Prez, and I hit the chord here and it was a very cool reverberation. And so they got a lot of press. They got a lot of attention.
Oh, okay.
It's about standing out.
That's what, and I have always heard that, or in the little bit that I've researched being on that show, because I used to watch that growing up, and I love that show. And I always thought, well, one of these days,
Oh man, and Drew is hilarious.
Right.
If you go, you're basically getting a free. You get about 15 to 30 minutes of Drew's comedy, because when they go to commercial,
right,
they are setting up whatever else. I mean, and he goes to the audience and just does audience work.
Oh, wow.
And he does he was recently doing material at the Laugh Factory or the Comedy Store, one of the two, and was talking about how you can go see him there, and I mean, there's just so much more to it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so what's the next? Okay, so we've got a couple months left in the year. So what's 2017 looking like for Ben Michaels?
Man, I mean, first and foremost, just being comfortable financially without having a scheduled job.
Mm-hmm.
I got in this profession, you're only as financially capable as you are available. Every time you say no to a gig, so you say no 4 times in a row, that agent might stop calling you.
Right.
And you need 10 agents calling you 10 different ways,
right, for
10 different styles of your talent, if you're ever going to be, I mean, at least as I understand corporate and professional, entertainment. So I think for me, it's just finding as many of those as possible, or using my degree and just working for one company out there. But I mean, I don't know. That's what it is right now.
Yeah,
Oh, and
it's all fortune telling. So,
what I also understand is I have to try to get a writer's assistant position on either Jimmy Kimmel or James Corbin show. You know,
a writer's assistant.
yeah, which I think is just basically being like the writers, like, hey, go get me coffee.
The
go meet
gopher.
me. Yeah, and I that's 100% assumption based on movies that I've seen. But I mean, I think that's you have to start there. You know.
Well, I was listening to Stern yesterday, and they were talking to a guy that was doing. He'd gone out to a live yoga class, and he had to get naked. Or sorry, a naked yoga class. And so he had to get naked in order to interview them. The other people and the teacher of this class or whatever. But ultimately, he started as an intern like a couple years back. And they were kind of talking about he was getting coffee for people and doing that kind of stuff, but he moved up through the ranks. So is that kind of what is it something something similar?
The naked yoga analogy is a perfect analogy of. No, I mean, in all seriousness, yeah. I mean, I think that's what it is.
Okay.
Shameless this season, not to ruin anything, but would I be ruining something? No, Lip is having to see what it's like to start at the very, very bottom, of a company where if he goes it's like a game, right? And you have to just go through these things if you want to get to this certain level in this, certain game. And, no matter how proud you are, I mean, you don't make compromises and, you don't have to ever make compromises, but it's, you have to pay your dues.
Right.
I mean, I think one of the reasons I stopped doing stand-up comedy is they were like, no, Ben, we're serious. There's no shortcut. It's 10 years. It takes 10 years. And at the time, I'm 25, 26, so I got to do this now. I got to do this yesterday. I don't realize, that my mentality at the time. And if I would be doing probably paid stand-up right now, and it'd be amazing. But I didn't put the time into that. I put it into performing the way that I do, like hosting. Yeah.
With this show, I do kind of have that idea that, if I do 500 of these, something's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. But the reason that this show works for me in this, situation is because, before we started, well, not before, because it was kind of a dream actually in the beginning, but now that it's to this point, it's like, well, okay, we've got to put in our dues, and if we can do 500 and broke down, even at 3 a week, that's still going to take 3 years. And then, maybe we'll have something. But,
yeah,
I don't know. It's people like you willing to come on and talk about your story and
Absolutely,
who you are and
man.
what you're doing that, helps this keep going. So, but I completely hear what you're saying, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think one of the coolest ways that it's been, I think the 500 part is a goal. And there's no way you're not going to be successful and get something awesome out of it if you do it. And I can prove it because the very wise man that I got a chance to work with, Mr. Eric Satie, an amazing story of how he came up. But he summed it all. He plays like every musical instrument amazingly. And I was asking how long, but how long really? Not like I didn't learn my lesson the first time with the stand-up comedy, right? It's the same answer, right? It's, how long would it take for me to, get good at the piano if I started doing it again right now? You'd be like 10,000 hours. Oh, okay. Hey, as like a sound engineer, if I want to be a sound engineer, how many, how long would it take? What's the fastest I can do it? He says 10,000 hours. And I'm like, oh man, like we were talking about one of my favorite people of all time in stand-up comedy, Steve Martin, and his banjo. I was like, how long, if I was just a little curious, if I just wanted to do a little bit, how many hours would it be? And it's 10,000 hours. I mean, it's like you're going to be a master at something at 10,000 hours. And like some people are more legendary because they had more talent or initial gift from the beginning. If you have, everything is going to affect, nature versus nurture, how you could physically do something. But there's if you think about it, there's no way. There's no way. I'm proof of it right here. If you want to be an MC and a host, and that's the only thing you want to do to make money, you can do it. You just have to do things like be a strip club DJ for a while and figure out the formula. It's the 10,000 hours. It's the formula of success, But Yeah, I just think that's a great thing for the listeners and for you too. Is like it's you could take the word hope out of it because like sometimes like hope is great, right?
Yeah,
But it
yeah.
can be a dangerous word
It
because
sure can be.
it puts doubt. You know, you are going to have 500 shows,
Right.
and then that's going to dictate what the next 500 shows you do is gonna look like. You know, and it's the evolution. And you were saying. Forgive me for bringing this up. I mean, if it's like, because you talk beforehand. We don't want any locker room talk. I'm just kidding. No political jokes here. No political jokes here. Like in 20 episodes, you've like tweaked a lot of different, little things.
Yeah.
And I mean that's part of the beauty of it. It's not a pretty process. It's a process of failure.
Most certainly. And I'm scared every single show.
And that's beautiful. And it's when that feeling goes away that you actually miss it. And you look forward to that next show. Like I was nervous before this show. But there's also crazy things I do that I don't get nervous for.
Yeah.
Because it's just experience, man. And you if you get that experience, you're going to be a better whatever the end goal is.
Right.
And if it is this beautiful universal thing, you're going to through this process dictate what's going to be the perfect way that you do it, and that's why you get a charge for your milkshake. That's another analogy I use. If you make a milkshake for 10 years, it's going to be delicious. If you make it for 100 years, it's going to be delicious, right? And at a certain point, when you first start off making that milkshake, it's going to taste like crap. Like you're going to have to pay people to drink your milkshake.
Right.
But by the end, your milkshake's fucking delicious. Like there's no reason you shouldn't ask for what you want. Towards the end of my beer pong career, I was like 300, 400, 500. Like I remember I had like $1,000 party.
Oh wow!
For beer pong, just because I know I could. You bring 50 people that love drinking, and have to do it as part of the game to a bar. You're gonna be everybody's best friend. It's how good your milkshake tastes. Is how much you can charge it.
Man. Always good to see you.
Always good to see you.
I mean, I'm glad that you're doing your thing and in LA, but at the same time, it bums me out because you're not as close as you used to be. But with the internet now and everything, I mean, I know we can all stay connected. But I wish you luck out there.
Thank you.
Remember, don't dab and drive.
Don't dab and drive.
You got a time and
Wednesdays. It's on my Facebook, so please become my friend, Ben Michaels. Easy to find. I think I'm dressed as a pirate in same set outfit, just not at that event. And you can find that one, or Jenny Ashley is on Facebook for her. But yeah, check out either one of us. We also have a YouTube channel, Don't Dab and Drive, so you can watch all the past episodes.
Right on.
I think right now we have a lip sync battle, and we have people voting on that. So.
It's always great to talk to you.
Always great to talk to you, brother.
Yeah, not to get into it, but it's just because you're somebody who follows his dreams, and those are the people that I like to talk to. So,
hell yeah, man.
Thanks so much for coming by this morning. He leaves in a couple days, so won't see you for a while, but I wish you a lot of luck. And,
thank you. You too.
And happy holidays, now that we're in the happy holidays. And I appreciate it, sir.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Ben.
Yeah, thank you. Blah!